Alright, so with couchsurfingori coming up. I don't know how many of you couch surf on a regular basis, but you know, it's fun when you can do it. I realized that in the last 12 years, I haven't spent more than 23 days in any one location. But that wasn't on purpose, that's just a way of life, I suppose. But this is a gentleman who's a professional at it. And thanks for coming and doing this, sir. Really. Mike's yours.
Alright. Jeff Pulver said, "The magic of Twitter creates a serendipitous effect that can be felt around the planet." He was looking for characters for his 140 conference, and I really wanted to apply because I tend to be a character. But things came up and I never got to apply. But I'm still here. I found it very interesting that he talked about serendipity so early in his presentation because I'm a huge fan of it. I live my life by serendipity, and in fact, that's the reason that I'm here speaking to you. My name is Ori Bengal. I just told you a couple minutes ago. I'm a photographer, adventurer, and author, and now I can point to it and say the photos behind me are moments that have been captured from the couchsurfing adventures. My journey began in 2006 when my lease was about to expire. I was a photographer and designer, and I was living in Fort Lauderdale Beach, and everyone thought I had this great life. Oh, you get to live on the beach and shoot lingerie models and rock stars, but it wasn't very fulfilling for me. I felt uninspired, so got rid of all my crap and got on the road. Life's never been the same since. I've gotten to meet many incredible people, I've gotten to see incredible things, discover who I am, change many lives, including and especially my own. I started to really live and travel in real time. And they say that life is like a book, and I'm telling you, if you don't get out of your comfort zone and go and connect with new people, then you're not turning the pages. If you look at serendipity, let's talk about that. It's defined as a noun, an aptitude for making fortuitous discoveries by accident. Basically having good luck. And I like to define it as a series of seemingly unrelated events that are actually tied together somehow. For example, if I never went to Yannick Silver's Underground, which is an internet marketing conference, then I wouldn't have met Dory Friend. Because I'm such a character, and because I gashed my head open, I was quite memorable, and when I asked Dory if I could crash her couch, she said, "Sure, you can meet a pool boy on my ranch." And even though she had a ranch. So, a year and a half later, I swing by, and sure enough, I was her shirtless, margarita-pouring pool boy for her and 9 of her lady friends that just happened to be visiting that weekend. What luck! Well, clearly, I was invited to come back next month for her birthday party. And on my way there, I stopped by Sacramento, where I stayed with Rich. I met Rich in 2007 at Burning Man. And while staying with Rich, I got to meet Brandy, who's a fan of my blog and my passion for life. Brandy connected with Jeff, and Brandy connected with Jeff, and then Jeff connected with me, reached out and asked if I wanted to speak. So, hi, thanks Jeff. And so you see, all these events that are seemingly unrelated are in fact connected. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. And that's also what I'm writing my book about, traveling the world in real time and creating serendipity. So, if serendipity, by definition, is accidental, then how can we create it? Well, you create it by getting out there. And that's exactly what the viral nature of social media is all about. You see, the more people that you connect with, the larger your influence over serendipity. In The Secret and all those other tales of manifestation, they tell you, just ask the universe what you want and you'll get it. And I kind of believe in that, but rather than the universe, I prefer to ask the Twitterverse, and it always delivers. Perfect example, 5 months into my adventures, they threw me this great going away bash in Atlanta. But the problem was that the next day, the woman I was supposed to be staying with in Greenville, South Carolina, she wasn't picking up her phone, wasn't returning my text. I later found out she got in a car accident. But at the time, since she already threw me a going away dinner, I couldn't really stay, so I got on the road, drove to Greenville by GPS, sat in a parking garage, and got on MySpace. Yes, MySpace, it was cool back in early 2007. And, you know, I just posted bulletin after bulletin that I'm stranded. Help, who do you know in Greenville, South Carolina or near there? 6 hours later, I get a phone call from some woman I've never spoken to before, and Sadie invites me to come crash at her place. I show up like she told me to. I text her, and her and 2 of her friends show up, and they say, okay, follow us, but be really, really quiet. Okay? Hey, what? Why am I so quiet? Because it's an all-girls school and you're not supposed to be here. Thank you! And yes, actually you went, thank you, but not too loudly because you're supposed to be quiet. Anyways, so I got to stay at an all-girls college. Research in happiness actually proves that people are genuinely happier when they're involved in something that's bigger than them. By me posting that I needed help, by putting it out there, other people got to connect me with people that they thought that I'd get a kick out of. They got involved. They were part of something that's bigger. And another person that connected me with, to the same SOS, connected me with Jeff in Greenville, South Carolina. Jeff and his partners at Ground Industries, they make dirt boards. And these guys not only became great friends of mine, they also became some of my best clients. And we had all sorts of adventures, from riding in a Hummerzine with zombies for the premiere of Evil Keg to going to NASCAR VIP, which is great because while everyone else was like dying in the sweltering heat, we had like an air-conditioned pavilion and all these hot babes were serving us catered food and all the booze you could drink. So much booze, in fact, that Matt McLean, there's your shout out, Matt, broke his arm of doing cartwheels of all things. So it was priceless. I got great pictures of it. Anyways, so obviously after events like this, I couldn't wait for the next time that I actually got to put out an SOS. And the next time the opportunity came up, it was a couple months later, and sure enough, I was ready. I got on MySpace. Facebook was becoming more popular. And I posted that I'm stranded, and I posted it again and again and again, and that's how I got to not only couchsurf, but train with a bunch of cage fighters for a month in Iowa. And let me tell you, it takes a certain kind of crazy to be a cage fighter, and if you're couchsurfing with cage fighters, you're bound to get some crazy adventures. So, if you want or need anything, be persistent, tweet often. Because the manifestation of serendipity, it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the better you get at it, the stronger you get at it. These days, after my getting stranded experiences, I don't bother with silly little details like, oh, where am I going to stay or anything like that. I just go, tweet, and see what happens. And the cool thing is, I already know ahead of time that it's going to end up awesome. I got a zillion stories to illustrate this point. And the thing is, I share my story in real time. I share it using social media. I blog, I tweet, I Facebook, and my story is sometimes happy, sometimes sad. It's usually happy, but recently, for example, I had a breakup, and it really sucked because it was in the middle of a 30-day cleanse, and I was detoxing, so I was really miserable. Well, serendipitously, what coincidence, I get a PM on Twitter asking if I'd like to watch my buddy's surf spot for 6 weeks, his surf spot and his dog in La Jolla, California. So all of a sudden I go from being depressed to having a beach house in the best weather in America. And a dog. I kind of was missing having a dog too. So obviously I took him up on it. It was a no-brainer. I went there instantly. My plans changed. I was happy again. I felt that I was in the flow again and that I fell into good fortune, which I did because by playing fetch with Weber all the time and posting that on social media, I got to connect with Rob Burns. And Rob Burns and I have since become basically best friends. We've gone on road trips, we've partnered in business. His wife even styled me. Check out the shoes. So all this incredible stuff happens just because I keep putting everything out there. Now, people often want to know if I get lonely on my trip. And the answer is generally no, because there's always someone out there. There's always someone on social media that's there right when I need them. And I try to be there for the people that I follow. If you haven't seen Yes Man, I highly, highly recommend you see it because the character that Jim Carrey was playing, his life just absolutely sucked. until he started saying yes to every single opportunity that came up, especially the ones that he didn't want to do. And that's kind of what my life's like these days. I just jump at every opportunity, and not only do you have to know what you like, but you have to be open to it. Be open to the opportunities that are coming up. Catherine Hoppy from the Visitors and Conventions Bureau in Coos Bay, Oregon, had invited me to come out there and experience everything that the town and Bandon had to offer. I get to ride with the Coast Guard, ride horses on the beach, do jet boat tours, all sorts of crazy stuff. Best seafood I've ever had because it's so fresh, and the most gorgeous scenery ever. And you can't, of course, forget about bull poker. Ask me about that later. But she's the one who reached out to me, and it was just this incredible experience, and I just had to be open to it. I'm the one who reached out to Tony Shea, the CEO of Zappos.com, and I got to couch surf there for 2 weeks, and I got to experience every facet of Zappos. I just fell in love with the company and its people. So I don't have an end date for my journey, but I want to keep doing this for a while. I am writing my book, Creating Serendipity, right now because I want to share my passion, and because my journeys have absolutely changed my life. And I hope that it inspires other people to find some passion in theirs and maybe seek out the inspiration and go travel some. I think that life's like this great road trip where we're traveling with our buddies. There's never anything to be afraid of because we're never alone. We can always find out where to eat next or where to go next or how to solve any problem. And it's social media that's the great connector. So find your voice, take the time, discover who you really are, what you're really passionate about. Because with social media, just be yourself, because you're going to attract like-minded people, and that's what makes the trip worthwhile. Never before has technology made it so easy to connect with so many people. Now, back in the day, you used to have to rely on luck or know people, but now with social media, you get to make your own luck. I think it's very serendipitous that technology that was invented for military survival has now been fueled by pornography and has evolved to have all this great wireless technology that make it possible for us to do the previously unimaginable with a handheld device from anywhere. So, and the cool thing is, it's that technology that makes it possible for us to have non-technology adventures, like connecting with people. So, ignore what your mom told you and go out there and connect with a stranger today. We got a lot of great people here. If not, connect with this stranger. Thank you.